Wait, I'm ready? Okay. Alright, guys, I'm Stephen Liu. Co-founder of the Scrambling team. My presentation today is called Validated Learning. There it is, you can read it. That's the central theme. We're going to talk about something else as well, delve into various topics related to lean. So here's the agenda. I'm going to outline my approach to customer development. We're going to talk about the psychology of what it means to be lean. And then we're going to talk about how discovery and ideation play together. And finally, all this is going to be outlined in terms of concrete, real-world examples. So first thing you really have to do when you're lean is get outside the building. I understand that in a metaphoric sense. That means getting outside of your comfort zone. That means putting your ideas out there to be judged and to be rejected, to be ridiculed, to actually see how it fares in the real world. And once you're able to do that, you're able to package it into an MVP. And what you want to do with MVPs, you don't want to spend too much money or time building it. All it is a test for the product concept. So just make sure you gear it towards an experimental mode, not something that you actually worry about the features. But because it is an experiment, in order for it to function, it must be able to fail. Because that's how you're going to be able to test for fit. So in order to learn, the failure must be an option. That means not just talking to customers, but bringing them to a point where they have to make a pivotal decision. And what I think you have to do when you make a pivotal decision is put some cost into it. Not just like, here's a product, it's awesome, but actually I want something in return. And if it's something that's really high, like too much time, too much money, too much reputational risk, they're going to reject you, and then you'll learn the level of interest involved. And if the level of interest is not high, sometimes it's very obvious, maybe it's time to move on to a different idea, but if it's very mixed, for example, between different customer segments, you really have to learn how to measure it and put it within a framework evaluation. That's why you always want to take a moment and re-evaluate all your assumptions in setting out with your project. Are you solving the right problems? Are you targeting the right customer segments? Use that feedback and re-evaluate the entire framework, and hopefully you can bounce back and come up with something else. And when you're small, and the best thing about it when you're lean is that you really don't have shame because there's really no reputation for you to lose. You have a product that's unknown, you can keep trying random things until something sticks, as long as you have the runway to keep continuing. So that's the most important part. You always have to live to fight another day. You don't want any of your failures to be the end of your entrepreneurial ventures. You want to make sure that you have enough resources, time, you keep everything very efficient so you can keep going. That happened at Whole Foods. So, but no matter how badly you get rejected or how badly you get burned by a customer, you never want to burn bridges because customers can lead you into other customers, other people who give you feedback. They might change their mind. It's somebody that you want to keep track of, especially someone who's engaged, even someone who's very negative. So here's one big problem that entrepreneurs make. Their idea sucks, and they're like, well, let me just jump to another idea that I think makes sense. Well, there's a lot of assumptions there. Because you haven't done cost dev for somebody else, you don't know why they're successful, you just blindly jump in another idea. So that's why a pivot must always be based on validated learning. You don't want to start over and come outside of the framework. You want to keep it going, keep each iteration tight. So you want to learn from the customers, take that feedback, and apply it to something else. So the way you should pivot is, you should pivot based on the better understanding of pain points. Maybe you're not solving the problem that people have. Maybe there's another way to develop your product in a way that better accommodates what people need. And that's how you actually do make a pivot and make a product even better through the iterations. However, even though it seems like sometimes customers love your product, you gotta be aware of vanity metrics. These are metrics that don't really impact the success of your business, but maybe something good to brag about. The problem with vanity metrics is that eventually it's gonna cost you money because it will cause you to make strategic errors. Basically, you're going to think that right now all you need is to get a developer build something, but essentially you might not even have product market fit. You have to realize exactly where you stand in terms of your product and concept. Anyways, what you especially don't want to do is scale based on vanity metrics. You don't want to put too much of your time and money involved because once it gets too big, you lose the benefits of being lean, and now you become so big that it's very easy for you to screw up. But, alright, so here's the limits of cost dev, which is really, really important. This is still your reality. Think of a pivot. A pivot is something where you keep one foot grounded. You still want to keep some original vision, so you stay motivated through the entire process. There's some reason you came up with the product to begin with. And one of the problems with doing too much cost dev is losing coherence. You still want a vision so that you can keep everyone on the same page and build a product that actually makes sense. You don't want to just go scatterbrain and try to pander too much in terms of what people want. So anyways, this is a presentation. Thank you guys for listening. Here are my accomplices. John, Emily in the audience right here. Kelsey, Alex, and the Sunglasses Vegas. here it is.